Hey everyone, Jinx here, and today I want to show you how to get the rarest shinies in the game. A lot of people start their PokeMMO journey with the dream of owning one of the coolest and rarest shinies, such as Charizard or Metagross, or for myself, my favorite Pokemon, Absol. While you can technically single encounter for these, their encounter rate is so low that it would often be thousands and thousands of hours to accomplish. So the much more efficient route is to breed for the encounter. Now this isn't a beginner shunting method because it will have a high cost and time input, but as you progress in the game and your desire for that dream shiny grows, this is the best way to go for it.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
The general rule of thumb is that if it's rare in the Pokedex, it's probably faster to go with the egg hunting method. Each time you breed a new Pokemon, it's treated as an entirely new encounter, so you get a chance at the shiny just the same as running into one in the wild. This also means that the shiny rate on eggs is the same as a wild encounter at 1 in 30,000. Keep in mind that the shiny roll is done at the moment of creation of the egg, not hatching it, so if you're using a charm, make sure you're using it while making the eggs and not hatching them. While all of this is quite intimidating at first when you see the cost of the process, I hope this guide can ease some of your worries and help you work towards the shiny of your dreams. Just keep in mind, the secret to making progress is to get started, so let's get working towards it.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
If that doesn't get you motivated, I don't know what will. So let's get into it. If you're interested in joining our Discord community, check out the link in the description below. And shout out to Ice Cutter for being an awesome member of our community. So let's start with some basics. How do you actually make eggs for a hunt like this? First things first, when you breed, there are two possible outcomes of the species of the egg. It will always be the same as the female that went in, or if you're using a ditto, it'll be the species that you bred with it, even if it was a male. Then both the parents are destroyed, and you get the one out. So you'll basically be taking a bunch of the target shiny species and breeding them with either males of their egg group or dittos if they're male. To find the egg group of a male you're hunting, just check it in the Pokedex. So for Absol, you can see it's a field egg group. If we're looking at something like Charmander or Charizard, again, a really common shiny a lot of people love, not a common shiny, but a shiny a lot of people want and love, it's Monster and Dragon. So if you do have a female Charmander or Charizard, you can breed it with any other male Monster or Dragon and get a Charmander out of it. Each species has a different hatch time on their eggs, and it's not based on steps like it is in the base game. There are two things that make hatching eggs faster. One is donator status, which makes it 10% faster. The other one is abilities such as Flame Body or Magma Armor. So I'll show you these two here and how they work. So if you have a Pokemon with Flame Body or Magma Armor leading your party, you'll actually get a 20% reduction in your egg hatching time, which speeds things up a lot, especially when in combination with donator status. You can tell it's active by looking in the top corner of your screen. Right now, for example, I have Absol leading my party, so you can see I have Pressure, which repels some lower level enemies. Whereas if I put a Ponyta to lead my party with Flame Body, now if I hover it, it says eggs will hatch faster. The same thing is with Magma Armor, so you'll definitely want one of those abilities. You don't need a very expensive one or a shiny one like this. If you just go to the GTL and you look up by ability, Flame Body, you'll usually find a Litwick here, pretty cheap. So yeah, 1,200, and you got someone to throw at the lead of your party. If you want a flex shiny though, it's always good to get one like these while you're waiting for your eggs to hatch. Donator status also increases your shiny odds by a small amount, so it's definitely worth it since you're getting both bonuses out of it. So I highly recommend having donator status throughout the process of doing your egg hunt. With both these effects active, eggs take about 4 minutes to hatch. Since you can have 5 on hand, that would be 4 minutes for 5 eggs, but just to make the math a little easier with calculating time, usually say 5 minutes for 5 eggs, just because you are usually semi-AFK while you're doing this, so you don't pull them out the second that they hatch. So now that we know how eggs are made and hatched, let's check out the process of setting up for an egg hunt. The first thing you'll need is a bunch of your target species. I'd recommend about 300 to 600 when starting, which is 5 or 6 boxes full of them. While this isn't exactly necessary, you could probably make at least 300 eggs in an hour, so if you use a shiny charm, which I highly recommend, this will maximize your eggs made during the charm. Because this is a lot of space, you'll probably need at least 1 or 2 PC expansion drives to ensure that you have space for everything. Remember, you're going to need an additional 300 or so dittos or male breeders to match, so if you're shooting for 300 eggs, you'll need 5 boxes for your target and 5 boxes of breeders for a total of 10 PC boxes designated for this hunt. If you're targeting something with a low female rate, such as Charizard or Eevee, you'll end up using a lot of dittos. Otherwise, you'll end up with a 50-50 gender split, so you can use half dittos and half male breeders. Make sure to use male breeders if you can, because they're usually much cheaper. For my Absol hunt, I pay about 60k a box for field egg group male breeders, or 80k mailed, whereas a box of dittos is about 220k or 240k mailed. It's much better to buy boxes from someone directly rather than through the GTL, because the bulk price will typically be cheaper because the seller can save on GTL costs. For this, you'll just find a seller, go meet in person, and trade the Pokemon for the amount agreed upon. The best place to find sellers for boxes is Petrowski's Discord, Cool Duders in the trading lounge, or the Ditto box selling. Or if you're on a team, you can find some teammates that are working on collecting Dittos. You could even use trade chat, but I wouldn't really recommend it because the prices are usually a little higher and the people are a little less reliable. Alright, so now that you got all your target Pokemon and a bunch of breeders, let's see how we organize it all. So you'll see not all mine are full yet. I have a bunch of my mail. I ordered boxes full of them. I'm gonna fill my boxes and then show you how I organize them. Before filling up the last of my boxes, I want to make sure my gender rates are correct. So I want my female Absols to be paired up with male egg breeders. Again, they're quite a bit cheaper than Dittos. So I'm just going to sort these. As you can see, I just hatched these and they're all scattered. So all you're going to do is auto sort, gender, sort, and then it's nice and easy. You can just multi-select and drag those over to another box after sorting those. Remember, you can name your boxes just by clicking on them, so definitely use that to keep track of everything and keep it all ordered. So now that I got my Absols counted up, I got 3 boxes of female, 3 boxes of male, and 1 that's partially mixed. So I'm going to get field male breeders to pair with the females, and dittos to pair with the males, and then I'm going to sort it and go from there.
A few moments later.
Alright, now that I got all my Absols and my breeders, I'm going to set them up in such a way that's much easier to organize, so I can grab them quickly during the breed. So what you're going to want is you're going to want a row of your target, and then a row of the thing it's breeding with. So here, I'm going to go a row of female Absols and pull them here. So now I'm going to breed this group of 4 together and then that group of 4 together. And I'll keep going just like this throughout. I just noticed I have a hidden ability breeder here. I wouldn't recommend that because it prompts kind of an annoying pop-up. So just if you're getting in a rhythm, it might break your rhythm. So I wouldn't even bother with this. So I'll probably sell this guy off and buy a new breeder. Alright, so now we have all our boxes organized. We have Absol, then the thing it's breeding with, all the way through. Always double check, triple check, just to be safe, because this is going to be saving you a lot of time going into your breed. Okay, so we got it all. So I'll show you one time really slow how we go through it. So I'm going to grab a multi-target. I'm going to grab all 4 of these. I'm going to come down. I'm going to go to the breeder. I'm going to talk to him. And I'm going to control click Absol, control click the thing I'm breeding with. Now actually I'm going to bring this over here so that it's even shorter to get to the click. So from there, instead of clicking breed, you can actually save yourself some time by just pressing down and then A. Here you could just press B, you don't have to press down A, just one button input and it's a lot quicker. Then yes, and you're at your next breed. Now that actually reminds me, as we get into our breeding, always check that you have enough Pokeballs for this. So I have 480 ready to go. So let's check our Pokeballs. I don't have enough, so you don't want to get stuck in the middle and accidentally start using up like Dream Balls or something like that. They're way more expensive. So we're just gonna come buy some Pokeballs. Let's just buy like 600. So now that we've checked our Pokeballs, we've gone through our practice run, the last thing is you're gonna want to use a shiny charm. Now a shiny charm isn't necessary, but I'd highly recommend donator status and shiny charm when doing this. With these, your rate goes to 1 in 24,000 instead of 1 in 30,000, so you're saving yourself an average of 6,000 eggs, which is 20 hours of egg making and 100 hours of egg hatching time, in addition to the 6,000 breeders, which if they're dittos would cost 22 million Pokeyen over the course of the hunt. So it's definitely worth it to go on shiny charm and donator status. Okay, so now we know how to do it, what we need. Let's see how we put it all together. Make sure you have bill strings installed for this to make sure that your breeding is as fast as mine. Otherwise, it's going to be way too slow. See my guide linked in the top corner of your screen or in the description for that. All right, so now that we're ready to go, we're going to pop it in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Alright, so we're all done all our eggs, and we still have 7 minutes on our charm, so I'm actually gonna grab a team. I don't want to waste any time on this turn, and I'm gonna go do some single encounter, Sean Petalburg, looking for that red Shroomish or Breloom. So now that we have our eggs, on to the fun part, hatching. Yeah, not really. It's basically just putting them in your team and waiting about 5 minutes, and then swapping them out. Make sure you change your setting so that it only shows shiny egg hatch animations, that way you won't have to watch them all. You can actually go on mobile to do this and just put them on your team and tab out of the game. As long as you don't DC, the eggs will actually keep hatching. So you can just go and do whatever you want to do on your phone and then come back about 5 minutes later and they'll all be done. This is a trick I use to hatch my eggs while sitting around so I don't have to focus on it too much. While these hatch, let's take a look at the total cost and time of a hunt like this. This is the part where most people panic, but remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't need all the money up front. You don't need to go into this all at once. Just chip away at it slowly over time. I'm going to assume that we're doing all the eggs on a shiny charm and on donator status for this. So we'll have a 1 in 24,000 shiny chance. You'll need some PC expansion drives for storage. So let's say you start with 2 at 2 million each. I'm going to assume 360 eggs per hour. While some people may be quicker and some may be slower, it seems like a reasonable average for people to reach. So at that rate, it'll take you 67 batches of 360 eggs to reach 1 in 24,000. To start, you'll need 24,000 Pokeballs, which is going to cost you 4.8 mil. You'll also need 67 shiny charms to keep this rate, which is going to cost you another 17 mil. You'll need 360 of your target to start. For mine, that was Absols, and they were about 5k each. So 1.8 mil for these. But luckily these eggs will always recreate your target, so that's just a one-time buy. From here, it gets a little different based on your target. If you're breeding something that has a low female rate, like a starter Pokemon or an Eevee, or a genderless like Metagross, you'll need 24,000 Dittos, or 400 Ditto boxes, which will cost you 88 million. If you're doing a 50-50 gender Pokemon like mine, you could do 200 Ditto boxes and 200 male breeder boxes, so for me, in the field egg group, that cuts it down to 44 mil for the Dittos and 12 mil for the field egg groups. That leaves it at a total of 56 million. Donator status is hard to calculate because some people are going to grind this out hard in like a month, and others are going to take a year at a marathon pace. So I'll just add 1 month of it, but it's unlikely you'll actually finish this hunt in a month. We'll go with 3.6 million a month of donator status, so remember to add that for however many months you're going for. That puts our total at 87.2 million Pokeyen for a 50-50 gender in the field egg group, or 119.2 for a genderless one where you're using dittos the whole way through. Now let's look at the time. We already said it's going to be 67 hours of breeding, but remember the eggs take about 4 or 5 minutes to hatch. Let's go with 5 just because you won't always swap them out immediately upon hatching. With 5 in your team at a time, we can count them at about 1 minute per egg. That means 24,000 minutes or 400 hours of hatching time. In addition, you need setup time to buy the ditto boxes and organize them. So let's be generous and say you're really organized and you have regular sellers. It's going to take you about 30 minutes to buy the boxes and organize them for a breed. This will add about another 33 hours to your hunt. This puts the total time at 500 hours just in the actual egg making and hatching process, and doesn't take into account how long it takes you to earn the 90 to 120 million Pokeyen. I'll show you why I recommend doing this on donator status and shiny charm, because here's the total cost and time in without using shiny charms and donator status. Remember, the secret to making progress is to get started. You don't need to grind it all out in one go. Designate 5 or 6 boxes in your PC to your target, and whenever you have the funds, grab some dittos and get to work.
You're the creator. Anything that you want, you can build here. This is your world. Your dreams come real here.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and consider subscribing for more weekly PokeMMO content. Let me know what your dream shiny is in the comments below. While this is definitely an intimidating process, I hope this guide helped ease some of your worries and will encourage you to start working towards the shiny of your dreams. Remember, the secret to making progress is to get started, so get going.